Good morning, friends. Welcome to the Google class on Module 3. There is Authentication 1. Your teachers are People and Prasad and Azarbeg. Next slide. The contents. In the Authentication 1, we will going to discuss about one-way authentication, mutual authentication, and dictionary attacks. Next slide, please. Authentication. What is authentication? It is a process in which a principal proves that he or she it is the entity it claims to be. So here a principal is often a human, computer, or an application, or robot, etc. The principal is referred to be a prover, while the party to whom the proof is submitted, identity verification, is called as the verifier. Authentication may be based on what the principal knows. Example, it may be password or passphrase or has a identity card, passport, etc. Next slide, please. In case of human principal, authentication may use the physical characters such as voice, fingerprint, retinal scan, or DNA sample. This form of authentication is referred to as a biometric authentication. With password-based authentication, an individual is often expected to communicate his or her password to a verifying entity. Next slide, please. Mutual factor authentication. In this example, you can understand that a password it may be a text password, it may be a fingerprint authentication, or it may be a OTP pin which is generated and it can be accessed. This is called as the multi-factor authentication. Next slide, please. Types of authentication. The one-way authentication and mutual authentication. Two types are there. In one-way authentication, I have password-based authentication, certificate-based authentication is there. Next, in mutual authentication, we have shared secret-based authentication, asymmetric-based authentication, authentication and the key agreement. Next slide, please. Coming to the one-way authentication, in client-server communications over a campus network, for example, it is often the case that the client authenticates itself to the server. The server may or may not be authenticated to the client. This is referred to as a one-way authentication. Next slide, please. For example, you can be able to consider here password-based authentication and certificate-based authentication. So here the user enters the name and password. That is first step. Second step is the client sends the name and password across the network. Next, third step, web server uses the password to authenticate the user identity. Next, fourth, server authenticates the access for authenticated identification. It is the password-based authentication. Next slide, please. In this figure, you can able to observe that C and S are the client and server. The client sends the login name and the password, which is the hash key, and the server it is going to be stored in the database. Login name and along with the hash value of the password is going to be stored. This is an example for password-based one-way authentication. Next slide, please. Certificate-based authentication. So here there are five steps are there. In first step, user enters the private key password. Second step, the client retrieves the private key and uses it to create the evidence or digital signature by using the private key. Next, third step is SSL connection. The client sends the certificate and evidence across the network, and in the fourth step, dictionary directory server will be available here. Server uses the certificate and evidence to authenticate the user identity. The fifth step is server authorizes the access for the authenticated identity, so that user is going to be authenticated by the directory server. Next slide, please. Certificate based authentication. There are three messages we'll try to understand here: message 1, message 2, and message 3. In message 1, the client need not share a secret key with server but sends a public key certificate. A sends our certificate to message 1. B performs certain checks such as the validity period and the name of the principal. He also verifies signature of certifying authority of the certificate. Message 2. He then brings his challenge, announce or message 3. A responds by encrypting the challenge with his private key. Okay, next slide, please. One diagram will try to understand. Next slide, please. In this diagram, A and B are the two parties they wanted to communicate. There are three messages will be exchanged here. A communicates with the B, certificate exchange. B sends the nouns R to the A and again A sends the encrypted message of A along with private key and nonce R to the B. Next slide, please. Mutual authentication. What is mutual authentication? It is often necessary for both communicating parties to authenticate themselves to each other. For example, in internet banking, it is imperative that a customer interacts with his or her bank and not same entity posing as the bank. Likewise, it is important that a bank to verify the identity of the customer. Next slide, please. Mutual authentication, where a server is available, it is going to authenticate the user using a third party server and using the private key of the user. Using with help of third party tool, the bank can able to authenticate the customer, and then once the customer is authenticated, the customer can be able to perform the transactions on the bank server. Next slide, please. Mutual authentication using a shared key. For example, I can consider there are two parties, A and B has to be communicated. There will be three messages exchanged between. In message 1, A communicates its identity and its challenge in the form of nonce RA, which will be sent to B. A is a message and RA is a nonce. Next, B. B responds to the challenge by encrypting the RA, the nonce of A, with a common secret key that A and B is going to share, and B sends the message to A in encrypted RA, and nonce B also will be sent. Next, message 3. A responds to the B's challenge in the third message appears to complete the protocol for the mutual authentication. There are some serious flaws in this communication that we will going to discuss. Next slide. In cryptography, a nonce is an arbitrary member that can be used just once on a cryptographic communication, just like one-time password also it is called. So here A and B are communicating. The C is the intruder who will going to disguise as A and is going to communicate with B. This scenario you can able to understand here. With three messages will be sent from A to B. So in between, intruder C is going to disguise here. That you can able to understand in the next slide. Parallel session attack scenario is as follows. Message 1. An attacker C sends a message to B containing a nonce RA and claiming to be A. Message 2. B responds to the challenge with the encrypted key and nonce RA, and its own challenge RB is required by the above protocol. Message 1 dash. Now the C attempts to connect to the A, claiming it to be B to the challenge RB. Now note that this is the same challenge offered to it by B in the message 2. The message 2 dash. A responds to the challenge with the encrypted key EK and RB and the nonce of its own. Message 3. C uses A dash response, that is encrypted key EK of nonce RB, to complete the three message authentication with the protocol B. So here C is attempting to pose as A and it directly communicates with B here. Next slide. What has the attacker C has accomplished from this? So the 5 points we're going to understand here. See, first point, C has successfully imprisoned A to B. Next, second point, message 3 was required to complete the authentication of C, posing as A to B. Third one, C initiated the authentication protocol with A, presenting to A the same challenge it has received from B. Fourth, A's response to the challenge in message 2 dash was used by C to convince B that it was A that was trying to establish the communication with him. This attack is termed as a reflection attack, since a part of the message received by an attacker is reflected back to the victim. Fifth, in this case, the reflected message fragment is EK of RB. This attack is also called as a personal session attack. Next slide, please. The corrected protocol, what are the flaws are there, we will try to correct here. So A and B is going to be communicated with using the three messages. The protocol might require the responder to encrypt his challenge, while the initiator would be required to decrypt his challenge also. Second point, encrypting both RA and RB. Here A is going to communicate with B by sending its nonce RA, and while B is communicating with A, it is going to encrypt the knowns RA, and also its own knowns RB also is going to be encrypted, so that intruder cannot be able to access the message sent by the B. And the third message where A is going to communicate to the B, it is going to decrypt the RB knowns which is encrypted. It is going to be decrypted, so that it is going to receive the message RB. This is the correctable protocol. Next slide, please. Asymmetric key based authentication, where A and B is going to communicate. The three messages will be followed here. Along with its message, knowns RA, and A certificate will be sent to the B. In response, B communicate to the B by using RA, RB, knowns of RA and knowns of B, along with the encrypted B, and B certificate will be sent to A. And in response, B communicate to the A communicate to the B by encrypted RB known. RB knowns of B is going to be sent to the B back. Next slide, please. Mutual authentication using the public key cryptography, asymmetric based authentication. The three messages will try to understand like this. Message 1: identity of A, challenge sent by A, which is RA, A certificate. RA is the knowns RA and A certificate. Message 2 is the string obtained by concatenating RA, RB, signed by B, B certificate. Message 3, RB is the challenge signed by A, encrypted using the A's private key. Next slide. Attack on flawed protocol. So this protocol also some flaws are there that you can be able to understand here. So here C is going to intruder, it is going to come in between the A and B, where it is going to act as A to B, and B is communicating with C by assuming that it is communicating with A here. Next slide, please. The one solution to the above problem is for the entities to include the identity of the recipient in all the messages signed. You can able to understand the corrected protocol like this. In message 2, the three messages will be followed here for A and B to communicate. A is going to communicate by sending the A along with knowns RA to the B. In response, the B is going to communicate to the A. The string obtained by concatenating knowns RA, RB is signed by B is sent. It means that encrypted using the B's private key, which will be sent to A. In response, A is going to communicate to the B here. RB knowns of B is the challenge provided by B, and it is signed by A in response. Means encrypted using the A's private key, which will be sent to the B. This is the corrected protocol. Next slide, please. Authentication and the key management. SA and SB are the contributions to the secret key by A and B respectively. They are freshly chosen random numbers that are encrypted and sent so that they cannot be eavesdropped upon. The key finally chosen should be a simple function of SA and SB, that is S is equal to SA XOR of SB. Next slide, please. This is a diagram you can able to understand. A and B is going to communicate using the three messages using secret key cryptography. So A is going to send its message along with knowns RA to the B. In response, B is going to encrypt using the shared key between A and B. The knowns RA is going to be encrypted. Similarly, it is going to encrypt the knowns RB along with SB, and it will be sent to A. In response, A is going to communicate with the B. Third message. Knowns RB, challenge of RB, along with that encrypted message of SA will be sent to the B. Next slide, please. Using the public key cryptography. Here, A is going to communicate with B, its message along with the message B, knowns RA and A certificate will be sent. Next, in response, B is going to communicate to the A by using the A's message RA, that is knowns RA, knowns RB, the encrypted message using the public key SB. It is going to be encrypted using the public key of A, and entire thing is going to be encrypted using the B's private key. Along with that, B certificate also will be sent to A. In response, the third message, A is going to communicate with B using the message B or B nouns of B, and the SA is going to be encrypted by using the public key, and whole thing is going to be encrypted using the private key of A. This is called as the public key cryptography. It is called. Okay, next slide, please. Dictionary attacks. There are 5 points. Other will try to understand. What is dictionary attack means? They are typically launched in the context of passwords. Some passwords have too few characters. Others may be common celebrity names, place names, etc. Some individuals use the permutations of characters in the names of their near relatives or friends so that they are easily memorizable. Fifth one, based on the such clues, an attacker can build a dictionary of strings which are potential passwords for his or her victim. Next slide, please. Password. Okay, example you can able to understand here. The password and reason for weakness. I can give password as 123 or ABCD. Common default passwords. Smith. Anything less than 8 characters is a too short password. Next, Shah Rukh Khan is a name, it is going to be spelled in different way. Celebrity name, Shah Rukh Khan spelled backwards, which can easily guess it. Next, date of some date it is given here. Birthday date, anniversary date are convenient, but would almost always be a part of the attacker's password dictionary. Ayesha name is given again. Permutation of letters in mother's or spouse name. Ayesha name in this example is a poor choice, especially if the attacker has a personal information about his victim. Next, Kolkata. Place names are often part of the password dictionaries. Next slide, please. There are two types of dictionary attacks, online and offline. What is online attack? In online attack, an intruder attempts to log into the victim's account by using the victim's login name and the guessed password. There is usually a system imposed limit on the number of failed logins attempts. So unless the attacker is particularly insightful or lucky, an online attack has a limited chance of success. Next slide, please. Offline dictionary attack. In case offline dictionary attack, the attacker steals a file and tries to with different combinations. Online tries the combinations against the live system. Attacker obtains a password file, and using that file he can try to guess the password with different combinations. Attacker computes the possible passwords using the hash values also may be possibility is there. Next slide, please. Offline attack. Unlike the online attack, in offline dictionary attack, it leaves you a fingerprints. One possibility is for the attacker to get hold of the password file. Passwords are typically transformed in some way. For example, performing a cryptographic hash on them before being stored on the authentication server. The cryptographic hash is a one-way function, so it is not easy for the attacker to deduce the password given for its cryptographic hash. Another possibility is for the attacker to eavesdrop on the communication link during the authentication. Last point, the attacker could use the dictionary of passwords to implement the offline attack also. Next slide, please. Defeating the dictionary attacks. One approach to frustrating a dictionary attack is to increase the cost of performing such an attack. The cost is the time to successfully complete the task. The means we should able to choose such a passwords where the attacker should take lot of time to break, and it is difficult for attackers to break. How to do it, you can able to understand here. The most time consuming operation in each iteration of the dictionary attack program is function of d of I, r. Here, hence, to decrease the attacker's chance of success, the function d of I, r could be made so complicated, so computationally expensive. So third point, suppose for example, instead of function f being a simple cryptographic hash, it was the cryptographic hash h applied successfully 100 times. That is, the hash function of hash function of hash function of like this 100 times dfi comma r. So it will take a lot of time, more consuming. It is called. Next, fifth point. If the above function were used in a loop of a program, we would expect the program to run about 100 times slower. Sixth point, a protocol that virtually eliminates the offline dictionary attacks is the encrypted key exchange protocol, EKE protocol it is called. Next slide please. Now, with this we will come to the end of the session. Any queries, questions are there, please put in the comment section.